Former FBI Director Comey issues a veiled threat to Trump. Supreme Court hearing on the 14th Amendment. President Trump's big, beautiful tax bill, and a quick update on the Pope. All those and more. Today, it's good morning. It's Friday, May 16th. I'm Ryan Howard, and this is Filibusted Headlines Daily Live Stream. And we've got a lot of good stuff to get in here today. I gave you some of those headlines, and we got to start out. And, Trump made this historic trip to the Middle East. And as you remember, he was the first to really make a trip not to US, Canada, or NATO ally. And he, in Trump normal fashion, he went ahead and ruffled some feathers on his way out. And he started with a random roast of Taylor Swift. He says, "Has anyone noticed that I said I hate Taylor Swift and she's no longer hot?" So I don't know if anybody remembers the "so hot right now" thing from Paris Hilton, but I'm not a big pop culture fan myself, but you can't avoid it sometimes, especially when the president is tweeting or truthing about it here. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Next up, he made a comment assuring that he was going to be having serious talks with Putin. So we know that it's not just fun and games there. There should be something serious coming out of that. And then he also issued a warning to Iran. And he said, if Iran's leadership rejects the olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict maximum pressure. So I think he's serious. I think they should take him seriously. The problem is when they have that sort of, the views that Iran has. I'll have to save my commentary until the end here, but next up, he gave a statement on the Comey debacle. Now, you will probably see, you've probably seen this. Now, Comey put out 8647, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But Trump said he knew exactly what that meant, and a child knows what that meant. That meant assassination. And so let's dive into that now. So that's our first main topic for today. And everybody knows who former Director James Comey is, the highly esteemed, disgraced, whatever you want to call it. He posted a cryptic message on his Instagram account, and this is a picture of it. And he basically just said, "Hey, I came across these beautiful seashells." And as we know, that doesn't just happen. And so either somebody put that there or he put it there. But he basically, this is a collection of seashells, and everybody's saying that this is these numbers are translated to mean it's a type of a threat against the Trump. So the number 86 means a violent ousting, take them out. And I heard someone saying that this, in mob language means you take someone 8 miles outside of town and you put them 6 feet underground. And that's really obviously the only way to interpret this. And obviously 47 is representing the 47th president. And so really, if a no-name person posted this, I think nobody would really care. It would be another threat, but we actually have had actual attempts on his life. And so this is really no time to be joking about this. And so he had infamous battles with Trump during his first term. And so this is really ridiculous, of course, but he since took it down and replaced it with another one. And so we are actually, I thought I had that here. I was going to try and find it, but he replaced it with another one that was, I've got it here somewhere. But anyway, he replaced it and basically just said, "Hey, I didn't mean it. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know it was political." And, it's just kind of like the normal song and dance. And so anyway, that's, absurd. And so, we have actually Tulsi Gabbard. Here it is. So it says, "I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on the beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down." Well, that sort of speaks for itself there. Now, next up, we have Tulsi Gabbard. Actually, she's the director of national intelligence, and she actually called for the arrest and jailing of Comey. And she gave an example in this interview that somebody that threatened her actually was arrested here just recently. And so this is pretty serious. It should be taken seriously. But she says, "We are in communication with the Secret Service and Director Curran, primary jurisdiction with Secret Service on these matters, and the FBI will provide all the necessary support." So they're taking this seriously. This is obviously a new day with the Justice Department, with the intelligence agencies, and all those sorts of things. And so we'll see if anything actually comes of this and people actually start being held accountable for these kinds of things. More to come on that. So next up, we have, and here's just another article talking about what she was saying there on Fox News. Now, and the FBI, even Comey came out and said, we are aware of the recent social media post by former FBI Director James Comey directed at President Trump. We are in communication with the Secret Service and Director Curran, primary. So that's what I had just read, but now you see the real post. And so you can see that they are taking it seriously, and they should be. So next up, we are talking about the Supreme Court hearing on the 14th Amendment. And this is around birthright citizenship. And so it says, this headline says, U.S. Supreme Court divided over judges' power in citizenship case. And so I'm going to just read a quote here, but this order seeks to clarify that, Trump sent this order and now they're considering it. And so this seeks to clarify what birthright citizenship looks like. And so the order states, the privilege of the United States citizenship does not automatically extend to persons born in the United States. One, when the person's mother was unlawfully present in the United States and the father was not a United States citizen or a lawful permanent resident at the time of said person's birth. Or two, when that person's mother's presence in the United States at the time of said person's birth was lawful but temporary, such as, but not limited to, visiting the United States under auspice of the visa waiver program, or visiting on a student, work, or tourist visa, and the father was not a United States citizen or a lawful permanent resident at the time of said person's birth. So this is very interesting. This is where the statement had come from, and this is really the idea of protecting the value of American citizenship. And this is a very hotly debated topic, and there'll perhaps be some more to share at the end here on that if we've got time. But this is something that the courts need to be talking about. They need to decide this because it is very important. And so we'll see what comes down from that, but they should expect, this is still in debate. And so there's no clear expiration date for that debate, but the courts are expected to have an answer, final answer by June. So that's coming up. We know a lot of things in the courts get pushed out a long ways, but hopefully we'll have that very soon. Now, next up, we're going to talk about Trump's big, beautiful tax bill. I think that's the actual official name of it. And so as we look here, we see this is one of his, this is really coming under scrutiny as it's working to get passed. But this is one of Trump's campaign promises, and it was to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. And the details of that bill are available now. And so it seems that it offers seniors temporary deduction instead. And so that's ignited a slew of criticism and the bill and against the bill and Trump's pledges. He's known as the president that keeps his promises. And so this has got people up in arms here a little bit. And so in a post that he did on a post on X News said that the situation highlights the challenges of translating campaign pledges into complex legislation. So that's something that I'll have plenty to say here at the end if we have time. But House Speaker Michael Johnson defended the bill. He said that it fulfills many of Trump's pledges, like eliminating taxes on tips and overtime pay and providing tax relief for seniors. And there's a small possibility that amendments could address some of those criticisms. Now, finally, we have other news about Pope Leo, and he's already getting into the world game and some of the culture stuff. But just this morning, Pope Leo said he affirmed his stance on marriage and saying that the family is the foundation on the stable union between a man, is founded on the stable union between a man and a woman. And so he goes on to also, we're glad to see that from the Pope, to see leaders taking that position and making it clear. But he also went on and offered to mediate peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. And so that's, of course, great to see. We want to see peace talks happening. And so as we saw, Trump is already getting into that as well, getting into serious talks with Putin, which he promised. And so give you a little peek of our final topic there. But Pope Leo is expected to be inaugurated at St. Peter's Square at the Vatican this Sunday, the 18th of May. Now, in other news, now this final one here, our producer gave me, I think they got the inside scoop, and this is about the Hunger Games, that franchise. Now, I don't know if you like that movie or not. I watched it. I think it's a terrible premise for a movie. It's probably some Hollywood programming going on there. I've done some podcasts of my own on that, but this is called The Sunrise on the Reaping. And so they just announced their new movie lineup. And well, I think they were aware of a new movie release coming, but they weren't expected. Our producers let us know that the roles, the cast for the new Hunger Games film is actually going to be coming from the public school rosters here in the U.S. And so I think I found out that was actually not true. So that's a joke. And so you can see this here listed on that new Hunger Games cast of what's coming out there. So we've got just a couple of minutes left here. And, one of the things that I think it's important is, as we look at these headlines, you can kind of reconcile a lot of these things. And as we choose what we're going to talk about and not talk about, there's always lots of things. And so a lot of these topics, we've dove into some of them in detail in our recent live streams and in our members only content and on locals as well, with lots of extra episodes. And we do 2 or 3 episodes a week, and not all of those make it to YouTube. Some of them are, they're in the YouTube members area, which you can check out below. And you can also go over to locals and get more interaction with us, the hosts, there as well. And so that's something I want to make sure and encourage you to check out. But a couple of comments here. I mentioned that, we saw when Trump was trying to translate what he promised in the campaign into actual bill in legislation. It's kind of hard to do that sometimes. And the thing is, in politics, what we don't want to see is someone who made an empty promise with actually no intention of fulfilling that when they got into office. And we see that far too often. And, sometimes I think, new political leaders can be a little naive in a campaign making promises. And then you get in and you see all the bureaucracy and how difficult it is and all that kind of stuff that comes along with it. But there's also a lot of excuses that come along with it. And so that just really points to the fact that we need to be a highly informed electorate. We need to know what's going on. We need to know who our political leaders are. We need to be reaching out to them. If you reach out to a state representative or a state senator and 5 or 10 people reach out on the same topic, that's like a huge amount of people. Like, it doesn't take a lot of people to reach out on something and make it a big deal. And you can actually go down and meet with them in person. And the state level is where a lot of things really need to get done. And so that's where, I would invite you to make sure you know who those are. Reach out when you can. There's lots of different think tanks that help you stay on top of those sorts of things. And of course, here we are at Filibustered, helping you stay on top of what's going on from a conservative perspective. I'm coming from a conservative biblical perspective, but we just want to make everything practical and help you really understand the truth behind the narrative, what's really going on. And we're coming at it from a non-expert perspective. So, we really should have this sort of layman's terms talking about these things, breaking it down so that we can make sure we understand it. And so, we're grateful to have you here. I want to invite you to make sure you check out our exclusive content on the members only and over on locals as well. And make sure you like and subscribe if you're not already, and leave your comments below and keep this conversation going. So we will be back Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. Central with your next Filibustered Headlines live stream. Thanks for joining. Again, I'm Ryan Howard for Filibustered Live, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless.